Hello and welcome to the heliosblog. My name is Helios. Today, we're going to talk about how many dates you should go on before sex. Here's a popular question I get asked. It's an important one too. The question is, how many dates you should go on before having sex with a girl? You don't want to go for sex too early, as it will make women's ASD spike, but you also don't want to go too late, as you don't want to waste your time. What is the happy medium? Let's get into it. Enjoying my content? Check out my blog at heliosblog.com. On YouTube, you can support me by liking and subscribing. I'm also on Spotify if you'd prefer a podcast. If you're interested in my books, The Strategist Guide to Seduction and Quotes to Live By, they're available on Amazon. In addition, you can follow me on Patreon at theheliosblog for exclusive content. On with the show. How many? I recommend that you go on one date before sex. This means that you should be going for sex on the second date. Our cultural programming tells us that something physical needs to happen on the third date, but we're not following the female imperative here. You don't want to go for sex on the first date due to ASD. Let me elaborate more. First date is for rapport. I like to say that the first date is for rapport. The idea is that if you go for sex on the first date before serious rapport is established, it either triggers massive ASD and she gets really uncomfortable, or the ASD causes her not to want to see you again. If you're looking to create friends with benefits, you're better served going for sex on the second date. The first date should last around an hour, and you should talk for 15 minutes while directing the conversation. If, at the end of the date, you get those warm, fuzzy feelings of a date having gone well, you're very likely to have sex on the second date. Try to avoid interview topics. Instead, steer the conversation towards something that she really likes to do and let her talk about it. Reflect her emotions back at her and you'll have great rapport. Once you've had your first date, it's time for the second. The second date is at your place. You want to invite her to your place for the second date. Have some plausibly deniable activities scheduled, like watching TV, cooking something together, playing music, etc. You want her to have some reason for why she's coming to your place other than sex. Once she's there, do the activity you had planned for a bit. Once things are going well, you can then escalate sexually. If her body language is good, then continue. Otherwise, back off and try again later. It is quite likely if she comes to your place alone that she wants to sleep with you. This is even true if she doesn't initially want to kiss or be physical. Some girls just need a little bit more time to be comfortable. Don't push too hard, but move inexorably towards your goal. When to text? A lot of guys wonder when to text. Here are some general guidelines. You'll notice that the timing changes depending on what phase of the relationship you're in. I've put it in a table for you. Okay, after the first date, you text 2 to 3 days before to set it up, and then you text a confirmation text the day of. After the first date, text the next day after the first date and set up the second date for 2 to 3 days from the first date. If it's the second date, set up the second date to be 2 to 3 days from the first date, and you confirm the text the day of. After the second date and you've had sex, text her something nice the next day talking about how you had a great time. Don't mention the sex. Set up the third date to be 2 to 3 days from the second date. Third date, you send a confirmation text the day of. If she's a regular friends with benefits, so you've slept with her at least twice, you text her once per week for logistics only, no confirmation texts. If she's a non-monogamous girlfriend, you text her once per week for logistics only, no confirmation texts. If she's a serious non-monogamous girlfriend, or if you're in an open marriage, once a week for logistics only, no confirmation text. And that's right, even when you're in a serious relationship, you only text for logistics. You should never ever be having text conversations with a girl, no matter what relationship you're in. Why you shouldn't try to have sex on the first date? You shouldn't try to have sex on the first date due to anti-slut offense. That's what ASD stands for. Basically, a girl will believe that she's a slut if she sleeps with you on the first date. This is not true if your first date lasted for 10 hours or so, but you don't want dates that long anyway. In order to prevent anti-slut offense, you should instead have a short 1 hour long first date and cut it short when things are going really well. This makes her want to see you again. You then invite her to your place on the second date, and her ASD will be minimal since you had no sexual contact other than light touching on the first date. Try it and see how much more likely you are to create friends with benefits this way. Also, if you do happen to have sex with a girl on the first date, often it will turn into a one-night stand, and she'll not want to sleep with you again. This is also due to ASD. Good places for a first date. Great places to go for a first date are: number 1, the mall; number 2, a nice coffee place; number 3, an inexpensive bar; number 4, a park. These are all places that allow you to have a nice chill conversation without spending money. They're also great because if you feel like the girl isn't right for you, you can easily leave. You're not locked into the social convention of staying at a dinner or a movie if things aren't going well. You'll find that these chill environments will often allow you to have very pleasant first dates. You shouldn't have that many first dates that go disastrously unless you're a complete beginner at these places. Good activities for the second date. Here are some activities that I recommend you invite a girl to do at your place. They are chill and fun and often easy to do for both of you. She'll have a great, plausibly deniable reason to come over. Here's a list. Number 1, cooking food together. Number 2, watching a movie. Number 3, playing board games, chess, checkers, whatever. Number 4, playing video games. Number 5, playing music together. Number 6, studying if you're in university. Try these out. Once these things are going well with the activity, you can escalate sexually. Just ask her to come over to the couch and get started. Best types of relationships for men. Oftentimes, after guys have had sex with a girl once or twice, they ask her to be their girlfriend, thinking that this will lock in the sex they're having. It won't. You're much better off trying one of these. Number 1, friends with benefits. Number 2, NMG, non-monogamous girlfriend. Number 3, SNMG, serious non-monogamous girlfriend, after 6 to 9 months of good behavior. These relationship types are amazing for guys because they allow you to maintain your independence, freedom, and ability to sleep with other women. With non-monogamy, you prevent many of the problems that traditional relationships impose upon guys. They allow you to stay an alpha with much less effort. Conclusion. As you can see, you should aim for sex on the second date. Trying for sex on the first date will often lead to ASD and ONS. So ASD is anti-slut offense and ONS is one night stand, or just a rejection of sex entirely. You'll see that going for sex on the second date is much more likely to lead to friends with benefits arrangements, which are a lot less work for guys in the long term. Try it and see the results. Good luck.